players and teams, and its friendly confines have welcomed both favorite and underdog alike. And certainly underdog is one way to describe the midshipmen of Navy, but perhaps top secret may be more appropriate. Coach Paul Evans has won 50 games over the past 2 seasons, yet few outside of the Pentagon and their own proud brigade have noticed. Evans starts no seniors, instead relying on the skills of sophomore David Robinson, junior Vernon Butler, and sophomore point guard Doug Wojcik. Friday afternoon, this trio beheaded the SEC champion Tigers of LSU. Wojcik contributed 18 points and 8 assists, while Butler led all scorers with 20. However, it was Robinson who truly torpedoed the Tigers. Devastating on the boards and silky smooth around the basket, Robinson deep-sixed LSU's postseason plan, sending the Bengals home with a whimper and the joyous Middies down the road to round 2. To find their next opponent, Navy need not look far, 25 miles to be exact, to College Park, home of the University of Maryland. And ACC Player of the Year, Len Bias. This 6'8" junior combined with senior Adrian Branch to lead Maryland to a 24-11 season. And against Miami of Ohio, Bias was devastating, hitting 10 of 17 for 25 points. However, the Terps could not put the pesky Redskins away. And Coach Lefty Drizel watched with great interest as the game moved into overtime. In overtime, Adrian Branch stepped forward to lead the Terps, hitting 2 critical jumpers and then stealing this inbounds pass, which created the deciding points as Maryland slipped by 69-68. Today, a trip to Birmingham, Alabama awaits the winner, Navy versus Maryland.
The final second-round game here at the University of Dayton Arena. 3 of the 4 slots have been claimed in the Birmingham Regional. The final one to be determined now as Navy meets Maryland. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender along with Doug Collins. And no question about it, Navy pulled the biggest upset in the first round.
Well, Gary, this is a Cinderella team in the tournament. They're the #1 field goal shooting team in the nation. But their biggest strength lies in the fact they get to the free throw line. Butler and Robinson have shot more free throws together than their entire opponents combined. I think for Maryland, they're going to have to get out today and shoot the ball against this 2-3 zone defense that Navy's going to play.
Maryland's glad to be here. They just escaped in overtime against Miami of Ohio.
Well, they're an exceptionally talented group of players. They're going to have to get second shots today, not put Navy on the foul line, and hit the perimeter jump shot.
These two clubs have met on many occasions. The last time was 1983. Back with the starting lineups in a moment.
Today's second round
against Maryland at the University of Dayton Arena. And let's take a look at these two teams. First, Maryland. Maryland, a team that represents the let's go to the Navy Academy. How about them first? They come out of the ECAC South, and they have tried to advance into the regional for the first time for an ECAC South team. No one has ever done that. On the other hand, Maryland from the ACC. And now for the introduction of the starting lineups, let's go to the public address announcer, Charlie Robinson.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the University of Dayton Arena for today's 1985 NCAA Southeast Region second round game between the midshipmen of the United States Naval Academy and the Terrapins of the University of Maryland. Now let's meet the starting lineups. For Navy at forward, a 6'7" junior from Beltsville, Maryland, number 51, Vernon Butler. For Maryland at forward, a 6'8" junior from Landover, Maryland, number 34, Len Bias. For Navy at forward, a 6'6" junior from Lebanon, Oregon, number 5, Kyler Whitaker. For Maryland at forward, a 6'8" senior from Largo, Maryland, number 24, Adrian Branch. For Navy at center, a 6'11" sophomore from Woodbridge, Virginia, number 50, David Robinson. For Maryland at center, a 6'7" freshman from Temple Hills, Maryland, number 33, Derek Lewis. For Navy at guard, a 6'4" freshman from Ellicott City, Maryland, number 44, Cliff Reese. For 6'5" sophomore from Grimesland, North Carolina, number 3, Keith Gatlin. For Navy at guard, a 6'1" sophomore from Wheeling, West Virginia, number 10, Doug Wojcik. And for Maryland at guard, a 6'5" senior from Martinsville, Virginia, number 10, Jeff Atkins. And introducing the head coaches for Navy in his 5th season, Paul Evans. And for Maryland in his 16th season, Charles Lefty Dreisel.
Lefty Dreisel, Maryland Terrapins against Navy Middies. We'll be back in just a moment. Game to play in the Southeast region. It's this one, Navy against Maryland. You can see today Villanova moving in to Birmingham. Now, who's going to win between Navy and Maryland? They'll join North Carolina and Auburn, who came out of the other site at Notre Dame, Indiana. Len Bias, number 34, a junior at 6'8", will be going up against David Robinson, 6'11" sophomore. The Middies in the dark blue, and they have the opening cap. Doug Wojcik, number 10, a sophomore out of Wheeling, West Virginia. Cliff Reese. Butler, number 51. Here is Robinson, the smooth one. Rebound cleared effectively that time, ripped down by Derek Lewis.
We see Navy going right inside against Maryland's man-to-man defense. They're going to go to their man, David Robinson. He had a good shot, just didn't get it to drop.
Gatlin off to Adrian Branch.
2-3 zone defense by Navy. Butler in the middle, Robinson and Whitaker on the baseline. We got Wojcik and Reeves out front.
There's Adrian Branch, who's been off and on this year. He's on the baseline, out of bounds. The midshipman will inbound. I started to say earlier, no one from the ECAC South has ever advanced past this stage of the tournament, and Navy's trying to be the first one to do it. Timeout. Very alertly that time, Tyler Whitaker felt he couldn't get the ball in. He called timeout. We're going to take a break. There's no score here at the University of Dayton. What a year it's been for the academies. Army having an outstanding football season, Air Force a couple of years ago, and now Navy a step away from Birmingham. Tyler Whitaker, a junior out of Lebanon, Oregon, kicks it outside to Wojcik. Whitaker is the quarterback of this team, off to Vernon Butler. Butler, a native of Maryland, grew up in the Washington, D.C. area.
Navy plays that high-low post offense. They're trying to get the ball inside either to Butler or Robinson, let them go to work against either Derek Lewis or Len Bias.
Ducking inside, Wojcik, off to Butler. Robinson. He's a left-hander, but he stuffed out with the right hand.
Whoa, I tell you, if anybody wants to know who Navy is, you can see it right there. David Robinson with just a marvelous play.
So the midshipman on the board. Gatlin trying to backdoor to Bias. Too tall for him. Doug Wojcik will bring it up. He's 11th in the nation assists this year. A very patient team, a very unselfish team, this Navy club. Here's Robinson again. That's unstoppable.
Derek Lewis is an outstanding shot blocker for Maryland. He's playing behind David Robinson in the post right now. He's got to get around. He's not going to block his shot today. He's just turning around and shooting it with confidence, and he is smooth.
Well, Lewis is 6'7", Robinson 6'11". He has those long arms, so it's going to be very tough to guard him today.
This Navy team, very tough, scrappy 2-3 zone. That's the shot that Maryland's going to have to hit, Gary, that perimeter shot, and if it doesn't go, they've got to find a way to get second shots.
Branch missing, and Vernon Butler coming up with a rebound. Wojcik off to Whitaker. Whitaker 6'6", 185. Baseline it goes to Reese. Robinson again. Lewis trying to reach in on him. Boy, Lewis has got his work cut out for him.
He really does. I tell you, I'm very impressed with David Robinson. I've read a lot about him, but when you see him, you realize this kid is a legitimate pro prospect. He's a great player. He
came to the academy at 6'8", but he's grown 3 inches since that time. So the tallest player ever to play at the Naval Academy. It led 5% of the people coming to the academy at 6'8". Robinson is having a heyday early. He scored all 6 points.
Well, they're very patient right now. If Maryland doesn't put more pressure on the ball, they'll just pick them apart. You know where they're going, but right now, Derek Lewis again laying behind the man in the post.
This is reminiscent of Friday night against LSU when Robinson started so well and got his confidence, and Gatlin now gets Maryland on the board.
I can't impress enough how much you have to be able to hit that outside shot against the zone.
Reach in by Atkins. Having difficulties, Wojcik. He loses the ball out of bounds. Robinson's stuff to start this game was impressive.
Well, let's take a look at some athletic ability. Derek Lewis coming over to try to block the shot. Who blocks out David Robinson? No one. And just an awesome tomahawk slam dunk with an opposite hand. He's a lefty, and he did it with his right hand.
Jeff Atkins, the senior. That's the shot you're talking about, and after jumping to a 6-0 lead, Maryland's cut it to 2.
There's a lot of off-the-ball banging right now between these two ball clubs. Anytime Navy makes a move to the basket, there's a lot of bumping.
There's Lewis kicking it outside. Gatlin saves it to Branch. It's even now.
Derek Lewis got around that time in front, and he did not lay behind in the post. Look for Navy now to try to swing the ball and run maybe a little lob play for David Robinson to try to beat the front down low.
In it goes to Vernon Butler. He's a big, strong man at 6'7", kicks it out to Whitaker. Lewis doing a good job of fronting Robinson.
Well, you just can't lay behind him, Gary. He's too big.
Lewis would be the smallest starting center in the country, wouldn't he, at 6'7"?
And he also led the ACC in block shots. He blocked 97 shots, but you cannot depend on your shot blocking.
There's a lob inside. It's off Gatlin. Navy will reset. 15:26 to go in this first half of play. Navy, the leading field goal shooting team in the country, shooting 55% for the year, and you can see why with their patience and their inside attack.
Well, that's what they're just going to keep going inside. I would question how many outside shots they'll take. Jeff Atkins is 8 feet away right now from Doug Wojcik. He's giving him the outside shot.
And Lewis is spotted for the foul. He continues to jockey with Robinson, and that'll be a major issue is how long he can stay out of foul trouble.
It's going to be a long day if Derek Lewis has to play this man one-on-one all day long, because every possession they're coming down and looking right to Mr. Robinson.
It's the first foul of the game. Lewis is the first freshman center to start in Maryland since 1976. Outside shot by Whitaker. Rebound cleared by Lewis. This Maryland team is so impressive physically. Gatlin, who hit one out there a while ago, jumping out on him with Reese.
Keith Gatlin has good range on his shot. He actually suits a little set shot, not a jumper.
Atkins, who hit one earlier, good rotation on the ball. Rebound Lewis. Blocked by Robinson. Here comes Wojcik. Fine break. Reese on the end of the break.
Gary, this Navy team is for real. Maryland better play some basketball today. They just showed me something. They made a nice block and turned it into a transition basket. Great play there by Navy.
Boy, that's changing the tempo in a hurry.
I'm very impressed with this Navy team.
Baseline, Branch rejected again by Robinson. Wojcik on the move. Wortley brings it outside to Whitaker.
You better start pump faking against David Robinson. He sent 2 back in a hurry.
Playing both ends of the floor.
My.
Here's Vernon Butler. He's traveled to the ball. Well, let's see some of that defensive effort by Robinson.
Well, you talk about his ability to score. Let's check this out. He's going to send this shot by Adrian Branch back the other way, airmail.
I think he kicked that one over in Indiana somewhere.
Boy, oh boy, I'm impressed with him here early in this game.
8-6, Navy with the lead. 13:52 to go first half. Here's Bias, first time he's touched the ball. Robinson tips it to his teammate, Butler. Out they come to Whitaker. Whitaker averaging 13.5 points a game on the running jumper.
When you play with 2 big guys like Butler and Robinson, who get so much recognition and everything, and they get so much attention down low, you're going to have a lot of open shots, and these Navy guys are knocking them in from outside.
Lewis, kind of a wild pass, but Bias able to come up with it, and a foul. What an athletic move.
Well, we see his combination of grace and leaping ability, getting behind that zone defense. Outstanding lob pass from Keith Gatlin, and Len Bias, in my estimation, one of the top forwards in America. He can just really do it all. He can take it to the basket. He can shoot the outside jump shot, and there we saw his ability to glide in the air and just lay the ball in the basket.
Navy by 3 with 3:52 to go in this first half of play. And now Maryland coming out in the zone once again. Butler baseline. A new man has just checked in. That's Carl Liebert, 40. Liebert, a 6'6" sophomore. Here he is with the ball. Brings it outside now to Wojcik. So that was the first substitution for the midshipman. Well, they pushed him out, haven't they, on the floor?
Well, they really have. And the important thing for Navy, if they can, to spread that zone defense out. They'd like to get the ball to Butler at the high post, and he can be a passer down to Robinson. That's what they'd like to actually do. I'm sure that Whitaker and Liebert are going to have to look at that outside shot against that zone.
So Robinson, after that fast start now, has not been able to get his hands on the basketball.
Liebert is actually a garbage type of player, but that's a shot right there that he's going to have to hit. That's a big basket.
Nice garbage shot, right?
What I mean by that, that's not a negative. That's one of those guys who picks up all the loose balls and just seems to be in the right spot at the right time, a player that everybody needs on their team.
Paul Evans says he's the unsung hero on this team. Adrian Branch having a little trouble. 28-23, Navy with the lead. They led LSU at halftime, 28-24. Atkins counters from outside.
Well, he's shooting the ball very well. Very important in this game against that zone defense. But Jeff Atkins, they keep looking for that jump shot. He's an excellent perimeter shooter.
He had the tip that actually won the ball game in overtime against Miami of Ohio. He was not starting prior to the tournament, but they put him back in there with his senior leadership. Butler drops step. The basket. It's going to count. And the foul is going to go on Terry Long. Butler, power move inside.
That's what I was talking about, getting the ball to Butler at the high post. He saw that he had a lane. He took it in. Terry Long hit him on the arm. He followed through, got the shot. Len Bias trying to draw the charge, but the foul had already been called on Terry Long on the reach-in.
And I want to tell you something. That's a little bit of acting. Bias set down very easily. He's too physical to take that kind of abuse, right? 31-25. This equals the biggest lead of the game now for the Middies.
A little pressure here out on the floor by Navy, trying to maybe cause some problems for the Maryland team.
Adrian Branch, tough shot for a left-hander.
You don't want to open the floor up too much for this Maryland team, or they'll take advantage of you with their athletic ability. That time, Adrian Branch going right, kissing the ball off the glass.
You saying probably shouldn't be pressuring them?
No. You don't want to extend too much, Gary. You just open everything up for him.
They opened it up for Butler, but he traveled to the ball. Ron Spittler, the official, whistling that down. 6 turnovers. At halftime, Brent Musburger will have scores and highlights for New York. It is a busy day. It's been a busy weekend. And we hope you're enjoying this one, because I don't think a lot of people have had the chance to see this Navy team. Robinson comes out. Tony Wells comes in, a 6'7" junior out of Wheaton, Maryland. Branch, he just threw that one up. Going to have a foul on Jones. That'll be his first. Tom Jones, number 41, who's just checked in. He's the junior college transfer from Allegheny Community College. He was an NJCAA All-American there. He's been a starter most of the year, and then they discontinued that role when they got to the NCAA tournament. At the line is Liebert from Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. Love that name. There's been some good players come out of there. Don't ask me who, but I know there have been a few.
Well, we know there's been a lot of great players out of Indiana. Whether it's been Floyd's Knobs or not, we don't know.
Paul Evans is saying that this guy knows all the players, though, coming from Indiana. He's a real basketball nut.
I give Paul Evans a lot of credit for making that home visit.
33-27, Navy. 1.5 minutes to go in the first half. Gatlin has a funny-looking shot.
It's sort of a little set shot, Gary. As I said earlier, he doesn't really jump or leave his feet. He just sort of push shot, and he has great success on it and good range.
He was North Carolina's Player of the Year his senior year. One of those guys who got away from the state of Carolina, ending up in Maryland. Here's Butler on that drop step, and a foul on Adrian Branch. He's like a plow horse when he goes inside.
You wonder why they shoot a lot of free throws. When Butler took that ball to the basket, he had one thing in mind. He didn't even see the basket. He wanted to draw the foul. When you're a great leaper like Adrian Branch is, and you're playing against a guy who is not a good jumper, who's going to create contact, you must keep your feet or they'll make you pay. And Butler's getting to the free throw line again here 2 more times.
That's 6 points now for Butler to go with 5 rebounds. Butler's a 78% free throw shooter. He hit every free throw he attempted against LSU, 10 of 10 on Friday night. And that's what makes him so effective. If you're going to shoot free throws, you better shoot them well, huh? 6-point lead now. 55 seconds to go until halftime.
I think it's a smart move right now for Paul Evans to have Robinson out of the ball game right now. Give him a little blow before halftime.
And they haven't lost any ground with him out of there. It's a tough zone, isn't it?
Well, they're doing a good job taking away the middle. They're not giving you penetration. The wings have shots. Gatlin's got that shot all day.
And he's hit both of them.
Navy right now is playing percentages. They're going to say, Maryland, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us from outside. We're going to try to limit you to one shot only.
Butler at the other end, and now his effectiveness really starting to come to the forefront. He now has 9 points, back to a 6-point lead.
He's picked up the slack for David Robinson. David Robinson carried him early, and Butler's coming out to the front.
Atkins, they're going to live and die with that outside shot, it looks like. Bias is fouled, Liebert committing the foul. And that was not a good foul with 3 seconds.
Navy was actually trying to give a foul that time before Maryland had a chance to shoot. Doug Wojcik tried to foul Keith Gatlin out front to get him to get the ball only out of bounds. The official did not see it. Gatlin missed the shot. Bias got it back and did get fouled in the act of shooting.
Liebert knew he had pulled a very, very bonehead play because you don't want to foul a guy and send him to the line with 3 seconds, but maybe it's not going to hurt anyway. Bias misses the first. That's only the 4th foul against Navy in the first half.
You just clarified why they were trying to give the foul. I'm sure a lot of viewers were wondering why I was talking about giving a foul, but they're not in the bonus yet.
Jeff Baxter now will come into the ball game. His ball handling will be the asset he'll provide. Bias hits the second. 37-32, deflected inbounds. Atkins has got it with 2 seconds. And that will be the end of the first half. Navy and Paul Evans leading Maryland at half, 37-32. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball.
14 points, 5 rebounds, also 3 block shots. Len Bias, some excellent plays along the baseline, a couple alley-oop plays, and a jump shot. Did a nice job for Maryland.
Let's watch Robinson again. This was an impressive opening action play. As you can see, the left-hander showing his ambidextrous ability as he came up with a right. Let's look at it again. And Len Bias coming at the other end and putting one away as they just seem to be matching each other the entire time. Now, Navy, we said, was the best field goal shooting team in the country.
Well, they get very high percentage shots, Gary. They're very patient, and all they're going to do is keep pounding the ball inside. Maryland started out man-to-man. They had to go zone to stop Robinson and Butler.
Now, you said pounding the ball inside. This next graphic shows you how effective they've been doing that.
33-20 front line scoring. Butler and Robinson, 23 of those 33 points.
How about the free throws again? Navy commits only 4 fouls again in the first half.
I think you really have to talk about their discipline. They know that they can't give up cheap fouls against this talented Maryland team. They're forcing him to shoot the ball from the perimeter, and Maryland not getting to the free throw line.
I think Navy's in the exact position they wanted to be in at this stage.
Well, I think they're very confident in the fact they played very well in the first half and stayed with Maryland. They did the same thing against LSU and were very confident in the second half.
We'll be back with the second half. Navy with the lead, 37-32. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this commercial and a word from your local station. With the advantage over the Terps, let's look at the stats now in the first half. See Navy shooting very well. They've averaged about 55% all year long. The free throws, rebounds very equal. The turnovers. Robinson didn't play the last 4 minutes of that first half. Didn't score the last 6, but still had a strong first half, 14 points and 5 rebounds.
I think the key there was the fact he got Navy off to a great start. And when you're playing against a talented team such as Maryland, sometimes you're a little bit intimidated. And I know they had a great game against LSU, but I still believe in the back of their minds they needed to know they could come out quickly and play with this Maryland team.
The interesting graphic there is Lewis. He picked up those 3 fouls and had to leave early in the ball game. He had 7 rebounds in the first half.
Well, Derek Lewis is going to be in the ball game to start the second half. They've also started the second half with Tom Jones in place of Jeff Adkins. I'm a little bit surprised about that because Adkins shot the ball so well from the perimeter.
And you know Navy's not going to get out of that zone.
I think Lefty's concerned about the fact that they did not rebound like he would like for them to, and see if they maybe get a little bit more interior penetration and inside scoring.
They were out-rebounded by 2, which you wouldn't expect. Branch, Gatlin, you mentioned Jones, Bias, and Lewis in the starting lineup now for Lefty Drizel, who this year won his 500th game in his career. Vernon Butler with the rebound. Butler was second only to Wayman Tisdale as far as juniors were concerned in rebounding this year.
That's not a shot that Maryland wanted to take in that possession. Adrian Branch can get a better shot than that. He forced it up against the zone defense.
Here's Whitaker. Kicks it outside as Navy now has come back with the same 5 that opened the ball game. Here's Robinson, and that's where he started the ball game.
Going right to the man, David Robinson. He's putting him right across those wiry shoulders of his, and he's giving him a 7-point lead.
The math major has 16 points, and that's the biggest lead of the ball game now for the midshipmen. Branch ducking inside. That'll be a charge. Running into Butler.
Again, you see the athletic ability of Adrian Branch, but also the impatience. Gary, when you play against a zone, it just so frustrates you when you're an athlete because it just takes you out of everything you want to do, and Adrian Branch has got to be a little bit more patient.
And you'll never play a more disciplined team than this Navy team.
Butler knew he was not going to block the shot, so what did he do? He came over and took the charge.
This is Wojcik, Doug Wojcik, bringing it out to Whitaker, Vernon Butler. 18.5 to go in this game. The winner moves on to Birmingham.
Maryland in a man-to-man defense, but really soft. They're playing Butler and Robinson tough.
A little too tall, but Robinson keeps it alive. Again. Great tenacity.
Gary, I don't know how he kept the first pass in play. That pass was so far out of reach, and that arm came from nowhere to keep that shot alive.
Boy, the Cinderella story is continuing to develop here.
Maryland now must be very, very patient. You're not going to get this 9-point deficit whittled away in 1 minute. You've got 17 minutes and 50 seconds in which to knock it down.
Well, Dayton has been the site of some upsets, hasn't it? Here is Adrian Branch.
That's a good shot there. Adrian Branch caught that one in his rhythm and went right up and shot it. Did not try to penetrate against the zone.
Branch now with 8 points. Third all-time leading scorer for the Maryland Terrapins. Played at DeMatha High School for Morgan Wooten, who's turned out so many outstanding players. 41-34, the midshipmen. Here's Robinson. They got it inside to him. And at the University of Dayton Arena, an upset in the making again. The midshipmen of Navy at the 17-11 mark of the second half, leading Maryland 43-34. The winner to move on to Birmingham. I'm Gary Bender along with Doug Collins. On the baseline, Branch will bring it out. Earlier today, Villanova moved ahead into Birmingham, defeating Michigan. Branch missing. Filling the lane quickly is Reese.
Very smart play there. Pulling back, you've got a 9-point lead. Possession of the basketball in a kind of game like this is vitally important. Go to your man, David Robinson, or try to get it inside to Butler.
He has all 6 of their points in the second half, and he has a foul. Len Bias reaching up, trying to swat it away. Robinson is 10 of 13 from the field. Let's make that Adrian Branch committing the foul. That is his 4th. Branch will leave, and Terry Long will come into the ball game. Lewis is coming out of there.
More than 400 free throws than their opponents this year. Will it be enough to beat this Maryland team?
You know, I'd be hard-pressed to think of any team that is even close to that.
Well, you know, I think it's a combination of the fact that they do such a good job getting the ball inside. And secondly, they're very disciplined not to give up a lot of fouls. I have not seen a lot of reach fouls from them today in this game.
This guy missed his 2 free throws against LSU, but he's hit that one. He's given him a real lift. Hit that shot when they needed it. Doesn't get this one. Bias lost it. Bias and Long were contesting for the ball, and it went off their feet. Lefty trying to encourage his troops.
Right now, the bounces are going to Navy. They've had 2 great opportunities.
52-49 Navy. 8:19 to go in the game. Inside, Liebert, goaltending, Bias.
What an excellent pass from Butler. Liebert was being fronted, and he just tossed it over the outstretched hand of the defender, went right up with the ball. Look at the touch pass from Butler. Nice play there, off the glass, goaltending, good call, and a 5-point lead for Navy.
Give credit to Liebert, though. He's making some things happen in there.
He really is. He went right up with the shot.
He has 9 points in the game. 54-49 Adkins. He misses again from over there. Follows his own. Good second effort, and Bias. He buries it.
Oh, man. Is he powerful?
Oh.
Goodness.
16 points for the ACC Player of the Year.
What a great player.
54-51. 7:43 to go. This has been a very interesting game.
Butler, a very good passer. They're roaming him around now in their offense, trying to let him be their trigger man. Now he's really looking to feed inside to Liebert and to David Robinson.
Maybe in no hurry with this 3-point lead. There's the timeouts remaining.
They're in the bonus. All they have to do is continue to use this clock and attack the basket.
Robinson, Butler is there, and Butler is fouled. Jones committing the foul. That's a nice 1-2 punch, isn't it? Robinson and Butler.
The nice thing about it is David Robinson, when he takes a shot, Butler and Liebert have right on the doorstep waiting for an offensive rebound. And Gary, we talked about it. They're not great jumpers, but they lock you with their legs and don't allow you to use your jumping ability.
That foul was the third on Jones. Now, as far as fouling is concerned in this game, that is the effectiveness from the free throw line. Robinson's their poorest free throw shooter, and Butler misses. And that's not characteristic of Butler.
That's the first free throw he's missed in 2 games. He was 10 for 10 against LSU, and he was 3 for 3 today.
He has 11 points and 8 rebounds. Gets the second one, back to a 4-point lead. We have Gatlin, Bias, Branch, Adkins, and Jones in the lineup right now for Lefty Driesell. Lefty looking for the 505th win of his career. Bias from the corner. Butler up in the air, and Liebert comes away with it. Wojcik has it. And we're going to have a charge on Wojcik. He reared up, knocked the man backwards, and after drawing 2 charges, this time he's called for one himself.
Doug Wojcik was getting pinned. He picked up the loose ball. It's going to be batted up in the air. Wojcik is going to pick up the loose ball, and then he's going to be pinned in by Len Bias. He back pivots, and Len Bias, I think, took a little bit of a dive there, but he got the call, and that's a 15 foul on Navy.
55-51. Navy, 6.5 minutes to go.
Maryland really looking for the alley-oop right now to Bias. He's roaming that baseline. Butler very aware of it.
Well, they have lived with that all day long. And here's the other part of the game. Gatlin, Bias, good second effort. Lenny Bias had a tough time finding the handle. He got it, though. Here's Wojcik being pressured in the backcourt. Gets it off to Liebert.
Len Bias is single-handedly keeping this ball club alive right now.
Liebert traveled. He dragged his pivot foot, and now Maryland has a chance to tie this ball game up. 6:08 to go. Little pressure, and that pressure is what gave Miami of Ohio so much trouble the other night.
Navy has had some problems with it today, too. After the 11-point lead, Maryland picked up the tempo, and Navy has struggled ever since.
Still looking backdoor. Bias is just roaming back and forth on that baseline. There he is with the ball. Adrian Branch looks around at the clock, now showing 5:40. He buried it, and a foul is coming up on Whitaker, who hit him as he released the ball. That's the kind of foul I know you always hate to see.
Oh, I hate to see it because, number one, he allowed the guy to make the shot, and number two, then he continued on in a little touch foul. And Adrian Branch at the free throw line now with giving Maryland an opportunity to go up for the 1-point lead.
We have the second tie of the game, and Branch will try to break it here. Maryland back on top, 56-55. They are really trapping that inbounds pass. Almost turns it over again. Whitaker saves it off to Wojcik, and Wojcik has really been picked up and picked up tightly in the last 3 or 4 minutes in the inbounds.
He's working so hard right now just to be able to get the ball across court. Maryland's pressure has been ferocious.
Whitaker. He's getting the roll. Will Cinderella get that glass slipper? They're still hanging in there tough.
This is a great basketball game. Both of these teams playing very well. Maryland showing a lot of character right now after trailing by 11, really battling back.
10 points in the ball game for Whitaker. Navy retakes the lead at the 4:53 mark. Bias. Off to Jones. Bias. He has made so many power moves. He is a remarkable player. He has 20 points.
Got to get it across.
They threw it away. They got to hurry. They didn't make it. 10 seconds. Maryland will get the ball. Let's go back and watch Len Bias, as only Len Bias can do it.
Tom Jones going to try the jumper. It will not go. Len Bias, perfect timing, and with power, finishes it off.
Maryland has the lead. They have the basketball with 4:33 to go. The Len Bias show in the second half. He now has 20 points, 9 rebounds, 6 of those offensively. And this guy we think may be getting a little tired, Doug Wojcik. He has had to handle that pressure defense of Maryland.
Ever since Maryland got down by 11, he's been the one to try to beat this pressure, and I think really stamina is a problem right now. It looks like Maryland's going to try to spread them out and make them come out of that zone defense and play man-to-man.
Wojcik has not scored in this game. However, he's had 7 assists. 58-57 Maryland.
Maryland did this the other night against Miami of Ohio. They came out, they had a lead, and they decided to pull it out. They lost a lot of momentum. We'll have to keep our eye open to see if this will backfire against the Maryland Terrapins.
You see the time?
This might be giving Navy an opportunity to catch its breath as well. They were a little fatigued. This might give them an opportunity to get a little bit of a rest and make a run in the last 3 minutes.
However, Wojcik's spending a little energy out in front, going back and forth.
He's chasing the ball.
The reason people think we've got to have the shot clock next year in the NCAA tournament.
I agree, Gary. I'm a firm believer you need that shot clock to prevent these things. Right now, Maryland
just, it really takes the game out of the dimension we had it a while ago. Yet it's good strategy at the same time.
Yeah, you got to say that Maryland's doing the thing. What they want to do is get Navy to come out and play them so they have to guard their athletes and not allow them just to stay back and play 2-3 zone, which they've done all day.
He can care less. He's got the lead. He's got the ball.
Lefty says, I hope I don't have to play here in Dayton next year, so I just want to get out of here with a win right now. I'm not going to be seeing these Dayton people.
Lefty's had a tough time down there in overtime against Miami of Ohio. Now a 1-point game. Now approaching 2.5 to go. Maryland is killed now. 2 minutes.
Len Bias almost turned the ball over trying to split 2 defenders. There's no need to dribble against this token pressure by Navy right now. Just pass the ball like Gatlin, Atkinson are doing right now in a little triangle.
Now, if you're Navy, when do you start coming after them?
Well, I have to think about the 2-minute mark. You got to start making a move in terms about what you want to do. It's 2:09 right now. I would think that they would try to foul someone if possible and maybe force them to shoot a 1-on-1 free throw. The next one will be in the bonuses. They've committed 16 fouls.
Well, you see it, less than 2 minutes to go. Navy still hasn't made their move. Butler and Robinson hanging back on the lane area.
Jeff Adkins is a 68% free throw shooter. He's probably the worst free throw shooter they have on the floor right now. Adrian Branch shoots him at 77%. Len Bias at 78%.
Evans for Navy watching very intently now. He's probably going to have to make the decision now. Maryland looks like they may get into their offense a little bit.
Well, they've gone man-to-man now.
They jumped into the man-to-man. Bias in this game has hit 6 of 9 from the free throw line. Branch 1 of 1. Adkins 1 of 1.
The Maryland assistant coaches, I just peeked over at them. They can't even watch. Just had their head down like saying, I hope we can get out of here alive.
A minute 6. And she'll bring it out to Adkins. Liebert picking up Adkins. There's the guy you think they should foul as far as percentages are concerned. 3.5 minutes now. Maryland is killed in the stall ball.
Picked up his dribble. They're really getting close to that out of bounds.
There's the foul.
That's a good foul.
So with 40 seconds after killing over 3.5 minutes, Maryland will go to the line. Navy wants a timeout. And Navy's going to get the timeout. With 40 seconds to go, Maryland will be at the line with a 1-point lead. 3 minutes and 53 seconds in that delay game. What ended up happening is Adkins is fouled. He'll go to the free throw line, and statistically, he's a man you would foul. Free throw wise, he's shooting 69%. And Adkins, who for 4 years has been a very stable, very productive player for Lefty Driesell, maybe the most pressure-packed free throws he's had.
Well, he's a senior, and he knows if he misses, there's an opportunity that his career might be over at Maryland. And he's got pressure not only to make this first one, to make them both. If he only makes one, that's only a 2-point lead. Navy with an opportunity then to tie.
40 seconds to go. That looked easy.
For us.
By the way, believe it or not, with that free throw, that's the biggest lead Maryland's had in this game, 2 points.
I guarantee you, Jeff, Adkins' heart right now is beating so fast.
He got them both, and Maryland asked for a timeout. Maryland gets a timeout. Adkins, the senior who wants to continue his career at Maryland, hits 2 pressure-packed free throws. To go in this game from the University of Dayton Arena. This is the final second-round game of the Southeast region. Right now, Maryland leads it 60-57. Navy has the basketball. I'm Gary Bender along with Doug Collins. Earlier today, Villanova defeated Michigan to claim the 3rd position in Birmingham next week. One left to be decided, and a steal by Gatlin, and that'll do it if they can hang on here. Gatlin, a big steal, and Wojcik is fouled him. They're in the 1-and-1. Gatlin, what a big steal that is. Adkins hitting the 2 free throws, and Gatlin now with the steal.
Navy inbounded the ball to Wojcik, and he looked like he didn't know what to do. If they inbound him, he's going to try to throw it across court, and Keith Gatlin just read it very well, picked the pass off. He was trying to throw the ball across court to Tyler Whitaker, and actually Wojcik is their ball handler.
Gatlin's an excellent free throw shooter. He's been in the 80 percentile all year long. And so the Cinderella story now is starting to come apart. As Maryland with a 61-57 advantage, they had to battle back. They trailed by as many as 11 in the second half of play. Gatlin, dead center on both of them. And Maryland gets yet another timeout. So Lefty Driesell's team looks like they're on their way to Birmingham. They will meet Villanova. The other game in that Southeast Regional will feature North Carolina against Auburn. So Maryland, 2 games having to come from behind. What do you think about the matchup between these Terrapins and the Wildcats of Villanova? How would you look at it?
Well, I like Maryland's athletic ability, and I like Villanova's ability to change defenses and play that zone. I felt that their ability to keep, speaking of Villanova, their ability to keep Michigan away from the basket today was such a key. They sort of negated Michigan's power inside. I think it'd be a great basketball game. Right now I think you'd have to toss a coin to say who was the better team.
Both teams have good experience, and the experience was so evident in the Villanova win, and his experience was very evident here with Adkins hitting the free throws. There's the score that was played here earlier in Dayton, and then Illinois crushed Georgia, and the final liner becoming quite a story. And look at this, a tie game between UAB and Memphis State. Navy's last field goal came at the 5:12 mark of the second half. They're going to have to shoot in a hurry. Reese misses, breakaway to Adkins, and Maryland's on their way to Birmingham.
I tell you, they know they've been into a real basketball game today.
Reese on the drive, gets the roll, And now Navy calls the timeout with only 8 seconds left in the game. Coming in here, Navy had a school record for wins with 26. It won 11 in a row, but it's going to come to a close today. The UAB game is in overtime, and we'll be going to the conclusion of that game after we wrap it up here. The executive producer of College Sports is Kevin O'Malley. A game produced by Rick Lasavita, directed by John McDonough.